Shalom Israel, and welcome to another edition of Yasharallah's 20-minute breakdown, where I'll attempt to break down the scriptures within 20 minutes. But first and foremost, let's give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Wahar, Rakah, Kadash, and the Akims and the elders in the highways and the byways, pushing this word in truth and sincerity. All praises. And the elder women teaching the younger women, all praises to you too. And the brothers in the camps out there making edifying videos, edifying the body, all praises to you too. Now, what I want to touch on right now is tithing, because there's this thing around that's going around saying about, oh, tithing was money, it was, money, and all these institutes and these churches are, getting rich quick. And who dwells in all these churches more than anyone? Our people. And we are giving our money to the Roman Catholic Church, and they are getting wealthy, very wealthy, off of tithes and offering and all that things, the stuff like that. Now, I'm going to search the scriptures and show you what tithing was and who it was for. And then you make up your mind if you want to still tithe after this lesson. Because, number one, we were never supposed to give our hard-earned cash to heathens. Worst of all, when you read the book of Romans, heathens ain't supposed to be even teaching us the laws, statutes, commandments, because they don't know them. It was never given to them. So you have to bear that in mind. Somebody cannot teach you something it was never given. Somebody cannot teach you something when they were never given it. Yeah? So we are going to the wrong places to learn how to serve the Most High. The place we need to go is straight in the scriptures ourselves, or find like-minded brothers who is keeping the law, statutes, commandments. You can tell those who are keeping the laws, number one, because you will see they are wearing something that called fringes. That when you read the book of Numbers, you will see that was a law also, that you must wear your fringes. And what was the purpose of the fringes? To remind you to keep the laws. That was the purpose. So you didn't go whoring after, your own mind and your own eyes. You would probably go to sin, or go off a little bit. You look down at your fringes and you remember you're an Israelite and you must keep the laws of God. That's what the purpose were for. Now, without further ado, let's get into this lesson. Let's put this whole tithe to bed, because what I never understood is one thing I never understood. The church of today keeps teaching laws are done away with since Christ came, but yet somehow the law of tithing is in very much effect today and will ever be, because some churches you go to, the offering plate sometimes come around 2 or 3 times throughout the whole service, and then they'll have midweek services, and the offering plate comes out again. They are making a killing of our people, and our people are too blind to see what's really going on here. But anyway, without further ado, I've got my timer set, so we're about to start in 3, 2, 1. We're away. Right, I'm going to start straight in the book of Numbers, chapter 18 and verse 31. And it reads, and ye shall eat and ye shall eat it in every place, ye and your household, for it is your reward for your service in the tabernacle of the congregation. Now, what's that referring to? That's referring to the Levites, because the Levites were the ones doing the service of the Most High God. Now, let's get into that further. Let's jump up a couple verses. Stay in the book of Numbers 18, and we're going to go to we're going to go to verse 24 through to 26. And it reads, but the tithes, see, like I said, we're on the tithes. It says, but the tithes of the children of Israel, which they offer as an heave offering unto the Lord, I have given to the Levites to inherit. Therefore I have said unto them, among the children of Israel, they shall have no inheritance. So you see, that's what tithing was for, and it was all about, because the Levites had no inheritance with the Most High. So their inheritance was the Most High. For the Levites, their inheritance was the Most High. So where the other 11 tribes were given land as an inheritance, the Levites, the Most High was their inheritance. So the other 11 tribes had to look after the Levites. And how did they do that? By tithing. Yep. So bear that in mind. Let's read on. Numbers 18, verse 25. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, verse 26, thus speak unto the Levites, and say unto them, when ye take of the children of Israel the tithe which I have given you from them for your inheritance, you see, then ye shall offer up an heave offering of it for the Lord, even a 10th part of the tithe. Now you see, now the Levites had to offer up 10th part also, because that went to the high priest as well. So you see, it stayed still within the Levites, because the priests and even the high priest, they were all Levites. Yeah, so bear that in mind. Now watch this. I'm going to go to the book of Leviticus let's do chapter 27, and we do verse 30. Now check this out. And it says, and it reads, this is the book of Leviticus chapter 27 verse 30. And all the tithe of the land, whether of the seed of the land or of the fruit of the tree, is the Lord. It is holy unto the Lord. Now you see, the tithe is the Lord's, but remember, in the verse I just read prior, the Lord gave it to the Levites for the service of the tabernacle. Yeah? So I hope that's clear. Now watch this. I'm going to go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 12 and verse 5. I'm going to start here first, and then we're going to break this down and we're going to look more into it. Now watch this. Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 12, verse 5, and it reads, but unto the place which the Lord your God shall choose out of all your tribes to put his name there, even unto his habitation, shall ye seek, and hither thou shalt come. So the Most High showing he's going to put his name somewhere, and that's where you seek, and that's where you'll go. But why do you go, and why are you seeking? It's gonna explain that. Watch this. I'm gonna go to the book of actually stay in Deuteronomy and chapter 14, and I'll start at verse 22. Now listen to this. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 14 verse 22, and it reads, thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed that the field bringeth forth year by year. So you see, it's showing you, yep, you will truly tithe. Now watch this. Let's go further. Verse 23. And thou shalt eat, notice it says eat, before the Lord thy God, in the place which he shall choose to place his name there. Now that's just what we read in Deuteronomy 12 and 5. So you see, it says the place where he puts his name there. And then let's read on. The tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, of thy oil, and the first thing of thy herd, of thy flock, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always. Yeah, you got that, verse 24. And now watch this. Remember, he said he's going to put his name, and that's where you go with your flock and your oil, your wine, your whatever. You're taking as your tithe. Yeah, that's you go to where he had put his name, and that's where you'll go. So you would fear the Lord. Now watch this, verse 20. Did I read 24 already? No, but let's read verse 24. Yeah, verse 24. This is Deuteronomy 14, verse 24. And it reads, "And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art able to carry it," so showing you if the way is too long, where the Lord put his name, that you ain't be able to carry all that you're carrying, or if the place be too far from thee, which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there, when the Lord thy God has blessed thee, verse 25, then thou shalt turn it into money. Showing you there was money back in them time, it was called the shekel. So, so these people that want to get simple and say, yeah, but we can't donate food, we can't give food to church now, we have to give money because that is our increase. According to the scripture, there was money back then, but they wasn't giving money, they were giving food. Now watch this, let's read on. It says, verse 25, yeah? Then thou shalt turn it into money and bind up the money in thine hand. So you see, you don't give the money to them pastors or the priests. You bind up the money in your hand. Let's see what you do with this money. Yep. So you bind up the money in thine hand, and shall go unto the place which the Lord thy God shall choose. So you see, so you go to the place where the Lord God put his name. So you bind up the money in your hand and you go there. Let's see what you do when you get there. Verse 26. And thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, for oxen, or for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink, or for whatsoever thy soul desireth, and thou shalt eat there before the Lord thy God, and thou shalt rejoice, thine and thine household. And verse 27, because this is something you must remember also. Verse 27, and the Levites that is within thy gates, thou shalt not forsake him, for he has no part nor inheritance with thee. So you see, the Levites, you also made sure he ate also. Yeah, so tithing was never about money, it was always about food. Yeah. Now watch this. I'm going to go to the book of Hebrews. I'm going to show you something further here. I'm going to go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 7, verse, chapter 7, verses 4 through to 5. Now listen to this. Now it reads, Hebrews 7, chapter 4. Now consider how great this man was, unto whom even the patriarch Abraham gave the tenth of a spoil. Who's he talking about? Melchizedek. You remember? Abraham gave a tenth of the spoil of whatever he got to the priest, the high priest Melchizedek. When you read, further in, this is what this is about. Now, verse 5, listen to this. And verily they that are of the sons of Levi, who receive the office of the priesthood, have a commandment to take tithes of the people according to the law. So you see, it was a law in Israel that, they took tithes of their brethren. But check this out, of the people, Salaki, and watch is going to tell you who the people are that they were taking tithe from. I jumped the gun there a bit. Watch this. I'll go back to here. It's at verse 5 still, and it says, let's start at verse 5 from the top. And verily that they are the sons of Levi, who receive the office of the priesthood, have a commandment to take tithes of the people according to the law, that is of their brethren. Remember in Romans 9:3, when he told you Paul told you his brethren who are Israelites. Remember? It says, who, of their brethren, though they come out of the loins of Abraham. So you see, he was taken just from his brethren. So tithing was only for the Levites, from the children of Israel to the Levites. But remember, the Levites are children of Israel. They're just one of the tribes of the 12 tribes of Israel. Remember that, yeah? Now, let me show you a verse as well. This is the verse that the church always likes to use to get people to, shall we say, pay up. Yeah? Listen to this verse. Tell me if you've ever heard this before when they've said this to you. This is the book of Malachi, chapter 3 and verse 8, and it reads, "Will a man rob God? Yet ye have robbed me. But ye say, Wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes and offerings." Now you see, I remember hearing that verse before from a Christian. If you don't pay a tithe, you say you're robbing God, and they pull that verse on you. Malachi 3:8, "Will a man rob God? Yet ye have robbed me. But ye say, Wherein have we robbed thee?" And then it says, "In tithes and offering." Now, I'm going to show you why that verse was written, why the Most High said they were robbing him. Now, we're going to jump up a couple verses. We're going to stay in the book of Malachi, of course. We're going to jump up a couple verses to chapter 1. Sorry, not a couple verses. We're going to jump a couple chapters to chapter 1. And we're going to start at verse 7. Now, listen to this. It reads, actually, we're going to start at verse 6. So this is Malachi 1, verse 6, and it reads, "A son honoureth his father, and a servant his master. If then I be a father, where is mine honour? And if I be a master, where is my fear, saith the Lord of hosts unto you, O priests that despise my name? And ye say, Wherein have we despised thy name?" Verse 7, "Ye offer polluted bread upon mine altar, and ye say, Wherein have we polluted thee? In that ye say, The table of the Lord is contemptible." Verse 8, "And if ye offer the blind for sacrifice, is it not evil? And if ye offer the lame and sick, is it not evil? Offer it now unto thy governor. Will he be pleased with thee, or accept thy person, saith the Lord of hosts?" Now you see, now that's why that verse Malachi 3:8 and 9 was written. It says, "Will a man rob God? But yet ye have robbed me in tithe and offering." Now, Malachi 1 and 7 is showing you that the children of Israel was becoming tiresome with their sacrifice and offering. So what they started to do was offer lame and sick animals. And the law says that when you do offering, there mustn't be a blemish or anything wrong. The animal or whatever you offer should be perfect, blemish free, not lame, not sick. If it's an animal, if it's your first fruits and all that, it's got to be the best of your crop. But they were offering things that were now lame and this and that. And that's why that verse was written, "Will a man rob God?" Now watch this. I'm going to read you Leviticus 22 and verse 21. Listen to this. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 22, verse 21, and it reads, "And whosoever offereth a sacrifice of peace offering unto the Lord to accomplish his vow, or a free will offering in beeves or sheep, it shall be perfect to be accepted. There shall be no blemish therein." Now you see, just what I was reading. Verse 22, "Blind or broken or maimed or having a wean or scurvy or scab, ye shall not offer these unto the Lord, nor make an offering by fire of them unto the altar of the Lord." So you see, and then I'll read verse 23 of Leviticus 22, and it reads, "Neither a bullock or a lamb that has anything superfluous or lacking in his parts, that mayest thou offer for a freewill offering, but for a vow it shall not be accepted." See, now that was the problem in Israel, what they started to do. And that's why that verse, "Will a man rob God?" was written, because they were robbing him in tithe and offering. They were offering lame and sick animals. So that wraps that up. Now, another verse that I see that the church likes to use a lot, which I've heard them use, is this one. This is in Malachi again. They, when they want to get the guilt trip going, they love Malachi. Listen to this. Now, this is another way they try to get you to bring your 10%, or sometimes even more. They're trying to say the more you give, the more you'll be blessed. That's what these churches and these establishments are saying. Now, this is the verse they use for that. Listen to this. It's the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 10. And then it says, bring ye all the tithe into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house, and prove me now wherein, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven, and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. So they like to use that verse. I even heard actually T.D. Jakes just the other night using that same verse on people about tithe and offering, and also saying about, open the windows of heaven that you won't be blessing enough to receive it. And the congregation was going wild. They love it. They love a good song and dance and a good jive. But when you read the scriptures correctly, see if you're still jumping and jiving when you realize how deceived you're being by these Christian pastors. Now listen to this. Now, that's what they read, yeah? Now let me show you, according to the scriptures, what the window of heaven is. Because remember, in that verse, it just told you about that, if I not open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall be not enough room to receive it. Now, watch this. Let's see what that's talking about. Let's go to Genesis. Genesis 7 verse 11. Look at this. Now, and it reads, in the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were open, and it rained upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. Now, that's the windows of heaven. Let me just further prove to you what the windows of heaven are again. Genesis 8 and 2. We go straight to the next verse, book of Genesis, chapter 8 and verse 2. Now watch what it says here. The fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained, showing you the windows of heaven is the rain. So what he's saying is that he will bless you by opening the windows of heaven to rain on your crop, that you will have crop in abundance, and you'll have food and meat in his storehouse, so you can feed yourself, your family, and the Levites. So I'm about to time out, Yasharala. So with that, I hope you got some understanding. And as always, stay safe, keep the faith, return back to the Most High God in the law, statutes, commandments, and please be careful who you give your money to. Not them thieving, greedy pastors. Stay clear of them in the Christian church. And with that saying, we out.